Hello and welcome to the Big Circles Weekly, the unofficial podcast of the Reap Smite League. I am Skipper, the ADC for Team Atrocity, and today I'm going to be joined by Spooky Mars. Spooky, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, Spooky Mars here, mid laner for We Need Horde / Matana Jr. Still undecided about that, and we'll keep you filled in on that. Also, Caster for the Reap Smite League. Also joined by Eins today. Eins, how you doing?
Doing good. Support for Team Janitors. Best support in the league, actually, or worst, either or. I don't care.
All right. So we are going to be the unofficial podcast of the Reap Smite League, coming probably, hopefully weekly, and with new content each week on the ongoings of the league. So today we're going to be starting with the review for season 1, and then go over some season 2 stuff. So first off, let's talk about the awards that we had for season 1. Um, let's start with the best mid laner that went to Don Q Mojito from Atrocity. You guys got any
Mocha got
thoughts on that?
shafted. Mocha got shafted. He deserved it. He earned it. Mocha played so well through the whole season. He was a shining star on his team. He was voted the top vote for the All-Star game. And he didn't get best mid. Huh?
I gotta agree with you there. Maybe there was some bias because Don did win the championship with Atrocity, but Thorn Mocha was a strong pick.
I mean, Mocha was a good pick. I don't think he got shafted. I really think Don, although it was close, I do think Don rightfully won best mid. He had his moments and he had his games, but I think one of the few things that had to do with Don's being best mid is kind of his consistency. And I think that's one. I think that's where I think that's what drew my line because I did vote for Don here, and because I just saw his consistency throughout all the games, and I think that's what kind of pushed my vote his way. Because I know Mocha did. I know Mocha shined with Atrocity, and of course, being a part of the championship team, uh, there's no slack in Mocha and what he does and what he brings to the table every Smite game. But I really do think Don did rightfully win best mid.
Mocha was on Synergy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Don was on Atrocity. Don won the championship. So you got those a
Right.
little mixed up there.
Yep, I did. Yes, I did. Oh well, my brain.
There's 12 teams. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, but it happened the first one. I'm gonna get flamed.
You know what? You get the mistakes out of the way early on. That's
Mhm.
that's the strategy. You get them out, you keep on rolling.
Exactly.
Right, Skipper?
I do agree. Don Q Mojito, his consistency was strong, and for me at least, he was a meta setter for mid lane. Like he didn't play the Agni a whole lot. He would go and play the gods that he knew, like the Baba Yaga and the Scylla, which drew bans from every team pretty much every
Oh,
game.
I
And
remember the fellas.
yeah, if you don't ban Don Scylla or his Baba, he's gonna pop off, and like people took notice, and I mean, it made other people either start picking up those gods or ban them away from them, and that's trend setting to me at least.
All right, without flaming, the biggest reason I see to ban Don's Scylla is that his god pool is so small. I looked him up before the league started. I saw, wow, he plays like only Scylla. I will just ban that. Now, granted, we lost the game, but I I think it was a very valid strat to just ban that away.
I can't disagree with you. At the beginning of the league, Don started out with what did he have? 300 MMR or something similarly
I
low.
think he said it was 200.
200. Okay, not better.
It was very low.
Yeah, but he pretty much like he's a fast learner,
Go from
and
that to where he was.
yeah,
Sorry, I interrupted you.
no, it's all good. Yeah, he's a fast learner. So basically, he picked up a lot of people really quickly, and banning Scylla didn't really mean a whole lot when he had a better god pool towards the end of the season. But what were you saying, Nines?
Oh no, I was just saying to go from the 200 MMR to where he is now. It's a very very big improvement, and can't wait to see what he does this season. Well, actually, I can wait because I don't want to have to go against it, but that's another topic in another week.
All right. So, any final closing thoughts on mid lane?
Mocha got shafted. That's
There you go again with that.
that's the only thing that keeps circling in my head every time I think about it.
All right. All right. So on to best jungler. Another atrocity player. We got Ruler of Men. Got the best jungler. Heinz, you want to start us off here? What do you think about Ruler and the junglers that he faced?
I got shafted. No, I'm kidding. I was way too inconsistent to even get a fucking blink my way. Ruler, and I done forgot what team he played for. See, I need to
He played
I
on
need to be better.
atrocity as well.
I need to be better prepared for this type of stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, see, okay. That's why I didn't. Okay. Ruler. I remember him in the championship now. He was pretty good. Let me tell you. Uh, I can't really name any better junglers off the top of my head, at least in this league. I can name some that are, that are close, but none as close as Bless me, I'm sorry. Um, as Ruler, uh, he's a good all round jungler. Uh, sorry, allergies fucking killing me today. Fuck, somebody else go.
Ainz has been taken out of commission by the pollen in the air. He will be rejoining us shortly. My pick for best jungle, I don't think was actually one of the three options.
Okay.
Uh, I thought Mr. Daddy was
Ooh.
actually the best jungler.
Mr.
Now,
Daddy.
he did not win a lot, right? I think he
Okay.
won 1 or 2 games.
Okay. I think so,
But
yeah.
he was not bad at all. He was doing everything he could within his power to keep his team relevant in those games, trying to find leads, trying to find anything to pull them ahead, and he does it fairly well. If my team had remembered to vote in the All-Star match, he would have actually been in it as well. But unfortunately, he did not really get to shine as much as I think he should have, because the rest of his team wasn't entirely there. They were still getting back into things, and it wasn't really an environment to shine. Of the options we had, I do think Ruler was a pretty good one. I was also fairly impressed by Noah in the earlier part of the season. However, as things went on, he seemed to kind of fall off, maybe fall out of his comfort zone. Maybe other people just adjusted to what he was doing. Not sure what exactly it was, but I can agree with Ruler being here.
Okay. Um, on your point about Noah, yeah, I agree. Like, first couple games, he was, for me at least, one of those junglers to watch. He was terrifying with his Awilix, pulling some crazy plays where I know he pulled during one of his games. They were at like a Titan, and somebody got
Oh no.
knocked up by Geb,
No.
literally in fountain, and he just yeets them backwards and
That
instantly
was
murders them.
me. Oh, no.
And I was just like, okay, I see you. And but yeah, if people just ban the Wheelix, he fell back on like his third and fourth picks, and he just didn't show up as much as he had during the beginning of the season when he had all those tricks up his sleeve. Um, again with Ruler though, to me it comes down to his picks that he had in the jungle, and like he busted out a lot of the the usual picks, the Nike. I don't even remember who was jungling anymore. Um, but then he also like towards the end of the season he was pulling out Chalk in Odin and or not Odin, Chalk and Chang'e, which welcome back, Eins.
Oh God, kill me.
So yeah, he was pulling out Chang'e in the jungle and like solo, well not solo carrying games, but getting so much pressure across the map that yeah, it was a lot of cool things to see out of his jungle, and he was bringing more diversity to the god pool than any other jungler that I saw.
Yeah. First, don't ever make me relive that Wheelish game again. Second, I was very surprised by how the Chunga jungle was working out, especially in the finals game. I believe he pulled it out.
Yep.
And I remember looking at the drafts and I was thinking to myself, well, Synergy just has to pressure them early and they should be totally fine against the Chang'e. And it didn't happen. And Ruler just popped off. He just went nuts on it. Third, I forgot to shout out Gino, who, while not one of the best junglers, definitely showed a lot of potential on his team.
Yeah, I would agree. He was on Los Catrines, I believe.
Yep.
And yeah, he was one of their standout players and one of the few players that is returning for season 2. And well, Los Catrines, I don't believe ever picked up a win. He was one of the better players on that team, and did a lot of you know a lot of trying to carry on that team. You can't really call it carrying, but he tried to pick up as much weight as he could.
Most definitely. But yeah, in the end, I can agree with Ruler.
Okay. All right, Irons, do you have any thoughts on the junglers?
Uh, no, not really. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a bit too upset that I wasn't even a nominee to even talk about it.
All
No,
right.
like I said, I was way too inconsistent to even get a blink my way, which is respectfully so. So
Yeah. Well, there's always season 2. All right. So on to supports, we had NYNJ picking up the MVP. Spooky, what do you got to say about NYNJ?
He was my vote. I was a little disappointed that my support Tabo didn't make it in because I thought he was playing exceptionally well, especially towards the end of the season. But Jay was definitely my vote out of the options we had. I just feel like Jay can pick up just about anything in that support role and put in work for it. Like he's consistent, you know what you're going to get with him, but the enemy doesn't always know what they're going to get out of him at the same time. He's shown a pretty wide god pool. He's competent on all of them. He's shown some great relic usage, great team coordinates. I just really like him as a player. I think he deserves the spot.
Okay. Irons, what do you got?
um uh Jay Jay's a good pick. He wasn't my vote, but I could see why uh he was a good support. I think the semifinal quarterfinal game against Team Synergy was what really uh showed me when he went Yamoja. Wasn't his best game, but uh he did show leadership. I can tell he was trying to command his team. I was a bit, I'm going to say upset that it wasn't Reap that won the support because Reap with his Jing was actually very good. Good peels, uh, good zoning. He did damn near everything you wanted out of the support, but so did Jay, and I cannot. I'm gonna tell you what. I cannot stand his Kumba. I can't. I hate his Kumba. I, I I absolutely hate his Kumba Karna, and that alone, his Kumba Karna alone shows me why he's a pretty good support, and he's good at doing doing all the little things that you need out of support. And it's actually kind of one of those things is seeing how I'm moving into a support this season. I'm trying to see like all the little things like he and like Jay does to get it right. The rotations, the wave clear, how to farm, because that's been one of my struggles is farming outside of duo lane. He does a really good job of that, and it, it's a good thing for him that he won that because he excellent support.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna agree with you, but hold on real quick. Shout out to Sheriff Bub
Mm,
from
yep.
Atrocity. He does not play the traditional support. He is in there. He's taking kills. He's like causing havoc. So I can see why he wasn't on the best support list, because like his support is not supporting. His support's like in your face, and I'm going to destroy you. Um, but I would also agree, and I did vote for Reap being the best support. Um, from his very first game to the championship game, the amount of improvement that Reap showed was astronomical. And like, yeah, he was like at the beginning he was a one trick Emoja, but then he picked up like Fafnir and some other gods and was actually showing up on those. And I really liked watching Replay because he would make those crazy Emoja ults that would trap like 4 to 5 people and have the back all cut off. So like, okay, cool, you guys can run, but you're gonna run to my team, and they're gonna be ready for you. Um, Otherwise, yeah, with NY and J, I still fear that man's Kumba as well. Like that dude
Rightfully
is
so. I mean, what can you do?
you can't he literally I don't know how many hours this man put into Kumba Karna, but his CC chain
746.
is insane, and like you don't even have half of a second to try and like dash away between like his mez to the snare to the knock up to the mez or knock up again, and then by that time you're dead. There's no one coming to save you. But oh god, that Kumba
what, what
Karna is scary.
what can you do against that combo? Absolutely nothing. You can pray. That's like the best thing you can do,
You can beads and then still die.
and still die.
But
No, I don't think I ever got to face his Kumbhakarna. I don't think he ever.
Don't
I think I
don't.
only
That's
played his
that's
team
his.
one time.
just
That,
consider yourself lucky.
yeah, it's better that
I
you
want to see
don't
it
play
now.
against this combo
Now
Karna.
I'm interested.
You asked for death. Go ahead. That's you.
All right. Um. Yeah, I got no other thoughts on support. Just I don't want to see Kumba, and that's about it. Um. Moving on to the solo laners. The surprise pick for me, it was Koku Shibo
Man,
winning
Koku.
solo.
That was a surprise to you?
Hell
That was
yeah.
a surprise.
That was he played like half of the season and then just like quit.
But he absolutely dominated
That Yorman gun do
play.
though.
Right.
I may be biased. He was on my team for that half the season, but if he did not get Yorm, he did not perform.
I think we saw him perform on a couple other gods as well. I don't remember his games
I could.
all that well because, like you said, he did end up not playing for the later half after some team fallout issues. But when you control a lane and the game that hard for even half a season, you got to give respect where respect is due.
I mean, I agree with that, but I also like personally I like more from my solo laners. And
More,
yeah,
he ulted
You as
from
much as he
the
did, you
enemy
want
base
more.
back to his Phoenix just to defend you.
eh, eh. But no, he was a very good solo laner. He's very good on Yorm. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think there was some better solos again. Ornn, uh, for a
That's a good
solo
pick.
laner from Synergy. He was probably my top pick, but I don't know. I don't see the solo lane too much as an ADC. When I do, it's bad news.
True. What about you, Ines? What are you thinking on this one?
Well, I remember, I remember good and well. Us having to go up against, or our solo lane at the time. We've had quite a few solo laners, so I can't remember which solo lane it was this time. But when we went against he went against Koku's Jormungandr because we didn't ban him, even though we had said we were gonna ban him, and it was quite the game. I was let's just say we was having some troubles in solo lane that game. Um, some, and by
Okay.
some I mean a fucking lot.
Yeah.
Uh, what that I think that just shows like how good of a solo lane Koku is, especially with Jormungandr, to having teams constantly be like, we gotta ban Yorm, and Yorm needs to be gone. And thankfully we banned him next game. He still did kind of well with whatever guy. I can't remember what guy he picked next, but he still did good. And yeah, he's a decent solo laner. You can throw Ornn in there as well because Ornn actually has a little bit bigger god pool. But when you do so much damage with a single god, and teams keep overlooking it, and you get that god again, and you keep imposing your will in a single lane, in a 1v1 lane, as much as Koku did. I can see why he got the award, even though he didn't play. Like we said, the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I guess when you do have a signature champion that the entire league knows is like, this is your god to play, and if you don't ban him against him, you're not gonna have a good time. Yeah, it does carry a lot of weight and keeps him in the front of everyone's mind. So I can see it was a good pick though.
Well, that wraps up the MVP awards, I think,
Uh,
does it not?
No, we
no,
got
we
Move on
got
to the
one more. We
most
got the
improved.
no.
I, yeah,
You're just trying to gloss over like the best role in the entire
what?
No,
in
we
the
already
entire
I don't think
game.
that's it.
So, the most important MVP, well, sorry, the second most important MVP for ADC went to yours truly, Skipper. So, this is your time, you guys. You can start telling me how amazing I am. Spooky, you want to go first?
Yeah, I don't think anyone was surprised by this. I mean, honestly, the whole team of Atrocity, like the mindset seems to just be, we can lose in the early game. Just make sure it reaches late game so Skipper can come online. And then they have the three frontliners just charging at your face while Skipper's sitting in the back doing whatever he wants. And that's pretty much the strategy there.
And it's
And
effective.
it works. It carried them to a season one grand championship. So, I mean, you can't knock it if it works. But yeah, I don't think this was a surprise to anyone seeing this one here.
I almost threw up in my mouth. Um, but yeah, just like Spooky said, Skipper showed decent consistency throughout the entire season. Um, the only person I think that had a chance at the at, ADC MVP would be the Fox Key.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a battle between Fox Key and Skipper, which I think showed in the All Star game, I think Skipper is the better ADC.
No, I think Foxkey kind of styled on him in
Yeah,
the
he
All Star game.
He did, but I that All Star game, is just for fun. You're not really taking it seriously. But I believe that Skipper is the in terms of like team fights and where to be. I think it's Skipper. That and Skipper gave me a fucking horrible time because I had to go ADC against our match against Atrocity yeah. Let me try that again. Let me calm down. Let me try that again. Let me actually speak English.
That is the native language here.
Because shut up. Because I had to play ADC against both Fox and you, Skipper. And let me tell you, I hate both of you.
well, that's fair.
I
Um,
competitively hate both of you, but if I had to go who was a better ADC, I'd definitely give it to you, Skipper.
see, I well, obviously, I'm gonna agree, obviously, because why not?
Of course you are.
But I do think Foxkey has a way better early game than I do. When I was playing him in the All Star game and I played him in a scrim, his Amus and Cobb. Well, him and I are completely different ADCs with our mindset. So his Amus and Cobb had a great early game, and then he out positions me like crazy. Um, but in team fights, I'm way more aggressive, and I can actually pick up the kills that he wouldn't get because he's playing farther back and trying to play safe. Um, but in that early game, he absolutely dominated me and like was winning 1v1s, and I was just getting destroyed. But yeah, when it comes to late games, I'll just take over. I would also like to shout out Jack SM12. For me, he was
Hell yeah.
yeah. So
Good, excellent.
yeah, and if it was he's in the top 3 ADCs, he would have been originally he was my pick over Foxkey until the All Star game. But uh, Jack SM12 is fantastic. He also like he's okay. So Foxkey is more passive. I'm more aggressive, and Foxkey is literally right in the middle of us. And he'll play good. He'll play a little aggressive, a little defensive. He'll do like a decent laning phase, good mid game, and he's consistent. So I just wanted to give a quick shout out to him as well.
Tell you, Jack, if he gets a lead, and in his words, if he's huge, uh, the man has no brakes.
Yep.
He just sees a target. He's like, I'm going for it. Next thing I know, he's Jingwei dashing past me into the fire giant pit, trying to kill everything he sees.
Yeah.
I love it. I love him.
Yep. But shout out to those two. All right. On to most improved. We had a tie for It's Gino from Los Catrines and Don Q Mojito from Atrocity.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Gino definitely deserves this. Definitely deserves this spot. I mean, the man did not have a great start to the league, but by the end of it, he was like we touched on earlier, just a shining member on his team, just like the beacon of hope for Los Catrines. If they were ever going to get a win, it was going to be through Gino. The man picked his game up insanely well, and I was super impressed. That was my vote.
Yeah, I actually voted for Don here. Gotta rep your boys. So, but Gino, yeah, I agree. He came in the league a little bit on the weaker end of the players, and he finished out the league probably in the upper middle to the pack of all the mid laners, and he was fantastic. Like seeing a lot of his picks and a lot of the plays that he was able to pull out helped Los Catrines not lose as badly as they were, but yeah, he gave some hope to that team, and hopefully we'll see some good stuff out of him in season 2.
My pick went to Gino here as well. He went from like you guys said, he went from a poor start to being like one of the like shining players, not only in his team, Oscar Trinas, but in my opinion, even as a whole league, he became one of those players that stuck out uh, with his team. And I think a lot of us were even surprised, like especially how we all of a sudden exploded into a actual player that like none of us were expecting. And like you said, he was the beacon of hope for Los Catrinas if they were to get a win. And I think all of us saw that, especially in the later weeks of the league.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's one of my guys to watch now, especially with how much he improved from season 1. I have high hopes for him in season 2 that he'll keep improving and get better, be one of those top tier mid laners.
Can go nowhere but up.
I think he's jungle.
Is he
Jungle.
jungle?
He might have. I know he was jungle
He
last
was yeah, no, he was jungle last year.
Oh well,
He
maybe
may
I'm just completely mixed up
possibly
then.
switch. I
Hey,
should
like
probably double check that for everyone here real quick as we
like
do
Spooky
that.
said, get the mistakes out early.
Well, we're like
Yeah,
halfway in now.
yeah, he's still jungle.
Okay,
Yeah.
well I'm just crazy.
But yeah, I'm excited to cast his games. I want to see where this man goes.
Yeah, I think he'll be a good guy to watch. All right, and any closing thoughts on either on Don Q Mojito too, on his improvement in the league?
Eins,
No, you, Spooky.
Ouch.
listen.
All right.
I cannot say anything without it sounding like I'm flaming, and I don't want it to come off that way. So
Well, I can't say anything without sounding stupid, so go ahead.
Well, I'll say something then. I think Don, being the mid laner for Atrocity, who started out strong, ended strong. Um, coming into the league, he was seen a uh, as a target on Atrocity, somebody that you needed to focus, and if you did, you could probably get an advantage. In some of the closer games, Don was getting caught out and out of position, but by the end of it, he was running team fights. He was winning games for Atrocity before, or team fights at least, before team fights even started, with like throwing out all the Baba potions and skill shots and hitting every single one of them. So, oh, seeing his improvement is insane, and I think he's still got places to go, and we'll see where he lands.
I will say he caught me off guard a few times with the Baba Yaga. I had not played against it very much, and there was one kill in our base where he hit me with the one like through a wall, and I was just like, "Oh, that goes through walls, I guess." And that was all I could do because I was dead.
Yep, his
He also surprised me with the damage from the Baba 2 a few times. I'm just walking through a jungle. I'm like, there's Don. Maybe we can set something. Oh, that apparently does 70% of my health. I'm walking away now.
yeah, I think his off meta picks were also something that caught a lot of people off guard and like added to his style of play, and that helps to me at least see his improvement. All right.
But I know this next one is the one you're most excited for, Skipper. Would you like to lead us into it?
No, I think you should lead us, Spooky. Go ahead.
All right, Spectator. Like, looks like this one went to Tobias.
Mhm.
I know you were had a little bit of a disagreement on that one earlier, Skipper. Oh, I believe your vote went to Dino.
Yeah, so this is for best spectator. I like as written, I read that as who like if you took all their games, crunched it into one game, whose spectating was the best. And by far it's got to be Dino's, just because the production quality of his casts or his spectating was just so much higher. He brought in like the transitions, all the cool graphics, everything was amazing. And like as a best spectator, it's obviously going to go to the dude that has the better production quality. Tobias, on the other hand, he spectated like I would say a good 70 to 75% of the games. If you're
Like
gonna rate it like who was like
85%.
that, like yeah, Tobias would win, but Dino's production quality was just fantastic, and I can't sleep on that.
I do agree. Dino brought great production quality. What he brought was a massive improvement to the league. I cannot deny that anyway, and it made me really sad I couldn't vote for both of them. But I I think the actual spectating was about even between them. The actual camera movement and focus on what was happening. I always appreciate Tobias's extra attention being paid to the totem of coup and who's securing that one. And of course, our fantastic rides through the map, exploring every nook and cranny during some of these
I
lengthy
remember that.
pauses.
I remember that one.
Which time he did it so many.
And also the fact that he really stepped up for the league, sacrificed even coaching his team a few times to make sure that we had the games on stream recorded so that he could at least take them back to his team and review them later. And that's what got me to vote for him, really.
Okay. Heinz, what are your thoughts?
When I think of spectator, as you guys said, Dino's quality I think was better in terms of spectating, but when I kind of when I see the as best spectator, I think of Tobias, not not because he did it, not surely because he did like 75% of the spectating, but it also is part of that. It's part of the fact that he put so much of his time into spectating the 75% of the games that was in season one. Whether he has something outside of this or not, to put all of that time in spectating these games, having fun with it, just as much as the casters were. Those tours around the map. Every time there was a pause, uh, you know, he was trying to make it fun for the casters, as long as the casters were there to help him make it fun with it. So Tobias was there for most of the time. Putting so much time, because at least those matches are at least an hour at time, and to do that, what seems like once a day every week when those matches were scheduled. It's definitely a lot of time, and the league appreciates, and I appreciate it as a person to allow uh, these videos or these streams to go through, so we can watch them and review them and scout for them. So that's mostly why my vote went to Tobias.
Okay. Well, a little difference of opinion. I really can't concede my point. I like Dino's production quality way better, but I see where you're coming from for Tobias. But
Yeah, I do definitely agree with the production quality. Dino is Dino put so much work on that too.
yeah, and
That
hopefully,
was excellent.
yeah. So next we got best caster. Uh, with Spooky Mars down here getting best caster.
Yeah, I was surprised honestly.
Really?
Yeah,
Who would you have picked as best caster, Spooky?
Dino.
You would have picked Dino?
I would have picked Dino as well.
Oh my goodness. I personally voted for Spooky. I liked his like all the time. Like again, if I mean I guess I'm proving against myself, but Spooky did a lot of the casting. Um, and I think the quality that you brought to the cast, like the knowledge of the game itself and of the league, the players, everything was brightened, and it made the games a lot more enjoyable to watch when we had a decent caster that actually cared about it more than some of the other guys that didn't actually know the game at all. But no, I think I personally voted for you, and I thought you did an excellent job, and I liked your casting.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate hearing that. But Dino was also just really fun. It was fun to listen to him cast. It was really fun to cast with him. That was always a blast. Maybe not as fun for the spectators at times.
Hmm.
But yeah, I also don't feel right just voting for myself either. But yeah, I really enjoyed Dino's casting.
Okay. As you said, you voted for Dino too.
I voted for Dino as well. Dino brought a lot of things to the table. No knock on you, Spooky. You fucking made me laugh a lot of times when you know things weren't happening. You managed to, when the game was kind of on a stalemate, on a standstill, you kind of said some things made me laugh. But I thought Dino brought a little more. And again, the ones that he did cast, you and Dino together are like the best duo I've ever seen cast. I swear to God. Um, but like I said, no offense to you, but I thought Dino brought. There's nothing more that I can add that you two haven't already said. But I really enjoyed both of y'all's casting. But if I had to choose between you or Dino, I'd choose both of you.
Honestly, maybe that's what we should do next season. Instead of just choosing one caster, we choose like a team for
Best
like best,
caster team.
yeah, best casting team. and then just have that as a category, and you know,
I dig it. I like it. I like that idea.
yeah. Um, last MVP that we got to hit.
No, I think we've covered all of them.
End of it. That's
We'll
the
we'll
end.
just
Yeah.
we'll just go over it. No more stroking my ego. Uh, season 1 MVP also went to Skipper 13 ADC of Atrocity. Uh, since it was an award given out, we just got to go over. We can touch over it unless you guys have any other thoughts on it.
No, I mean, this is another one. Obviously, I'm pretty sure everyone saw coming. The the playstyle of Atrocity just really allows you to shine and
Mhm.
show what you do. And when you have a team like that, and you're able to put out these great performances every game, like obviously, I mean, does anyone even come close as a second nomination? I I couldn't think of one.
I
Mocha
don't think so.
maybe.
Yeah, Mocha maybe. That's a maybe as well.
Yeah, I I don't know.
Great synergy.
Yeah.
See what I did? Because
Hmm.
okay, never mind.
All right.
Anyway,
We're not doing this. Do that in casting, please. Don't do that here.
Segue to season 2.
Dino would have liked it.
All right. So next up, we're going to talk about season 2. Um,
Let's start Sunday or Monday. Let's go.
Monday.
does it start Monday? I thought it started Sunday.
Okay. Well,
It's the 24th. So I believe that's Monday.
24th is a Monday. 24th is a Monday.
It is Monday? Oh, Jesus.
now
Okay.
if you were to schedule a game for Sunday, I don't really think anyone would care. I'm pretty sure it would still get the approval and spectated and all that. But the official start date is the 24th, the Monday.
Okay. So, Spooky, you are part of the mod team. Uh,
Yes, I am.
would you like to explain how the division split is going to work? Because I know this season we are splitting our teams into 2 separate divisions.
Yes. So there's going to be an upper division and what is being called the developmental division. So basically, we're using the seeding from the last season with also taking into account player rank, MMR, all that stuff, and looking at the league as a whole and then dividing it between an upper half and a lower half, obviously. Uh, there are actually no plat or no gold, no plat players in the lower division. We were able to keep that the same, so we won't have what might be the lower teams facing off against plat players getting stomped. We are trying to still avoid that. Uh, but we believe with the last season rankings, we're able to make this maybe a little bit more competitive, so we won't have games like Yamarenko versus Los Catrines,
Oof.
which no, no one wants to watch it. No one wanted to play it because no offense to either of them, but the outcome was predetermined.
Yep.
So we're hoping that we can make things more competitive, not have those stomp out games. We'll probably still see some as teams adjust to each other. Important to note is that a lot of the new teams are in the lower division starting out. We don't have a good baseline for their skill level from what we've seen yet because we haven't seen anything from them. But looking over ranks, MMRs, and all that, previous histories as well, it looks like we have a fairly balanced lower division right now. Of course, these are subject to change through possible relegations as things go on, possibly promotions, demotions, etc., seeing how everyone works out.
So are those promotions and relegations, is those happening through the season, or is that going to be after season 2? Or is that up in the air still?
I am trying to get that one figured out. We're thinking it'll be towards the end,
Mhm.
probably after the season, see if how everyone's performing. Maybe they need to be bumped up, maybe they need to be bumped down, and just go from there. Because what we don't want to do is what happened a lot in season one is there's a lot of chaos, for lack of a better term. There's a lot of chaos in teams because things were shifting around a lot. Maybe a player had to be removed, maybe someone left. it was very confused, and we don't want to add confusion to the teams, especially during the season when they're all trying to work together, they're trying to get synergy with each other. The last thing they need is, hey, you're being bumped up a division. Good luck. Prepare for them instead.
Yeah, I think having it at the end of the season saying like the bottom two teams from the top division and the top two teams from the bottom division, maybe they swap. See how that
Sort of like
goes.
the English Premier League in
Yeah,
football.
pretty much. But
Yeah, that is definitely one of the things we were talking about. Maybe having like a playoff between them if players were interested, but
ooh,
that's still in the work.
that would
But
be interesting.
yeah, very much looking to be towards the end of the season. Uh, try not to mix things up for players too much during the actual season.
Okay. And yeah, I was looking over the some of the teams and the lower division and the upper division. There are some teams that could go either way. Um, so I think it'll be interesting to see, like the lower teams aspiring to be in the upper division and the upper teams, try to make sure they keep their spots.
Definitely, yes. Very, very excited to see how it pans out. Speaking of those, do you think there's any particular teams to keep an eye on, Skipper?
Um, for the lower division, I'm gonna say I was looking. I think Serpentine. Um, they have some good players. I know Sam Cobra is on that team. He was one of the better players from season one. Uh, so I think they'll do pretty good. And then what's the other team? Dinkelbergs. I think they also will do pretty well. Um, and then the last one was Daddies, the new Daddies.
Hmm.
Yep.
Um, they got Mr. Daddy in the jungle. I think they have. Oh, what was his name? What was their ADC's name?
Um.
Lex Tree Frog.
Yeah.
Was that? Oh, no, no, no. It was their solo laner, T-Kells.
Kells.
T-Kells is sticking around with Mr. Daddy. And then they got some three new players, so I think they're going to do really well. Um, yeah, for the lower division, we'll just start with those. I think those are my top three for the lower division.
Yeah. How about you, Hines?
Oh, it like Skipper, definitely Serpentine because as because they do have Sam. I did play with Sam for 2 weeks or so. He was with Janitor, so I did have a chance to play with Sam. Um, and then they have Godless Gorilla, who I've played with a few times during this off season. He's not he's not a terrible solo. He's not, don't sleep on him. He's actually a very good in at least in the games we've played. That can all change, but uh don't sleep on him. He's actually I've seen some of his plays he does. Um I think second team. Sorry, that's me. Um
The pollen returns.
Shut up. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Second team, Daddies. Like you said, Daddy's back. Daddy's back, and T Kills came with him. It's going to be absolute hell for the teams that have to play against those teams. And the third team that I'm looking at, I don't think anybody's seen it, but I think VHS will be a surprise, a team that'll turn some heads. They got some people we haven't seen, but I've seen Hercules coach. I've seen him play and I've seen him coach. Y'all can say what y'all want about him, but I think he can turn this team into a team that people look at and people see as a real threat.
Yeah, I forgot about VHS. Um, I was looking at them. They have, I think they have like three players that are like newer to Smite, so they have nowhere to go but up. Like they don't know right now what they need to know, and they don't even know things that they don't know. But if Hercules can coach them and coach them well, I think they're going to be one of the top contenders as well from the lower division.
Yeah, I am interested to see where they go. I'm not sure exactly how vast their potential is right now, but as you said, they're pretty new. They've got a lot of room to go upwards. Even if they're not a standout team, they're definitely a team to keep an eye on and see where they go here.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we're pretty much all in agreement on these teams here. I mean, we need healing VHS. Definitely going to want to watch out for them, see what happens with them, where they go. Dinkelbergs, it's Gino is back, possibly in a stronger team this time around. So this might allow him to shine a little bit brighter than he was able to last time. And that's just going to make him play even better. So definitely want to keep an eye out for that. Also, Dragon Man on the same team seems like he could be a pretty competent carry. Might have to be careful of him as well. And of course, shout out to Daddies.
Got to shout out daddies.
Gotta shout out the Daddies.
All right. So, what are you guys thinking about the upper division then?
I mean,
Well, we can't start talking. Oh, I interrupted you. My apologies.
obviously you got to watch out for Chastity.
Okay.
Returning champions, got to watch out for them. Got to prepare for them. That's a no brainer, right?
Mhm.
Dr. Phil, I think, will be interesting to watch. Specifically, I mean, it's in the name, Dr. Phil. Where are they going? You don't know. I don't know. They don't know where they're going. They're gonna figure it out by the game. And I've scrimmed with them a couple times, and let me just say they have some interesting picks and strategies, and I'm very excited to see them
Oh,
in the
jeez.
actual season.
All right. Eins, what were you saying?
I said this. I was gonna say the same thing he said. At least at the start, you can't start talking about teams to watch, especially in the major leagues. You don't talk about last season's champions with Atrocity. Seeing that they have basically their whole team back. Um, it's going. You're gonna have to look at them. You have to scout them, and sometimes even then, it might not even be enough to pull a win out of somebody's mouth. So, it's obviously going to be something for teams, especially on the top leagues, to watch out for. Um, Another team, Max Mode, um, Reap, Orn, Mocha. We just talked about all of those people in the MVP talks.
Mhm.
Uh, so when you have three candidates for an MVP, it's going to be you got to look out for them. It's gonna be same as I said with Atrocity. You got to look at them. You got to scout them. It's gonna be one of those. They're gonna be one of those teams like Atrocity where you got to pay attention closely to every single thing they do. If they even fucking blink, you got to take note of it. Um, and then final team that I'm thinking of is I'm not gonna try and toot my horn here, but I think you need to watch out for our team. I think you need to watch out for Janitors this season because the thing with Janitors was um we all we had so many roster changes with our team with the first being Hunter being solo and then he moving to carry, then turmoil happened. All of a sudden we had to find one new person, then two new people, then another person, then another two people. It was turmoil all of that time. We didn't really have a coach. We had a quote unquote coach on the roster, but he had some things. He had some things outside of this league that he had some things to do. Um, so we really only got a roster up to fill that playoff game that we lost to Legion. And I think after that, I think we spent the off season just finalizing our roster, which I think not only finalizing a roster, but actually finding a coach. And I think with that, I think all the practice we've done, I think we really can turn some heads this season with our roster. If this roster stays final, I think we can actually make a better improvement as to what we did last season.
Yeah. gonna go in the reverse order. So I'm gonna start with the janitors. I've had them down as one of my teams to watch since I found out your guys' new roster. You got like Extreme Stuff or Stuff Extreme or whatever.
Stuff
Um, yeah, I don't know. He was like the main sub for the entire league, basically. Like if you needed a sub, he was there and he was ready to play. And now he's on your team, like full time. Same with Honkler, on your team full time, and you guys have what's his name, Marcus X Wings, as your new coach. That's a volatile roster that's going to be extremely scary if they get enough practice in and build enough synergy, especially with the big brain Marcus behind them, like coming up with some crazy team comps and bringing out some good strategies against these upper level teams.
Oh, I can tell you firsthand, these team comps are freaking crazy.
Yeah, I've heard. Um, Next I'm gonna go with Dr. Phil. Again, like on paper, they look to be like a mid to upper level team. But if you see the way that their team can play, because they are Dr. Phil, they're 5 Phil players that play every single role, it's gonna come down to how often they role swap and how effective their role swaps are. Um, because at that point, it's going to throw out all the scouting that these other teams do. If their mid lane is now ADC and their ADC is jungle and their jungle solo, and then they just throw the entire roster around, they're like, okay, well, I just played against this dude, but now I'm in a losing matchup because I don't know how to play against this guy's how he plays. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be extremely interesting. Um, Max Mode, formerly Synergy, they replaced what was his name, Modax, with Tweaky for their ADC. Um, Tweaky appears to be an extremely strong player. Uh, but for me, I think what made Synergy a great team was, well, their team
Don't say
Synergy.
it. God.
It's literally they named
This joke
themselves
will never
after it.
die.
It's not because they started the league and they were doing like terrible against and barely picking up wins against some of these bottom level teams, and then they finish in second place because of how well they played together. And I don't know if replacing Modax is the right play because of how well he worked with the team. I mean, hopefully they'll be able to build that synergy also with Tweaky. That's remained to be seen, but we'll see where that goes. And of course, Atrocity, like you said, you can't go into season 2 without thinking about the season 1 champs. So
Who's the season 1 champs?
that was Atrocity.
Oh,
Never
man,
heard of
I
them.
haven't been thinking about them.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts on them. Um, yeah, I think Janitors is personally like my up and coming team, and that's one of the teams that I really want to watch.
We've been trying. I'll tell you what, we've been trying. I won't not gonna give anything away because we've been doing some things.
We lost him.
Okay, Irons, your mic is now terrible.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, like I was saying, we've been putting stuff together. Uh, I think our team can turn some heads like we were trying to do last season. I just don't think we had the solid team to do it last year, and I think now we have it.
Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts before we head out?
Well, since no one else said it, I'll take my third spot to
Ah,
say Matana Jr. We're coming.
yeah.
Well,
What's your
you
name
better be
though?
coming.
I
You
just
know,
didn't bring you up
it,
because you guys kept on having like 6 different names, and it's
so
obnoxious.
originally it was We Need Wards, and
Yep.
then everyone was like, "Well, hey, maybe we should change it for season 2." And we were tossing around ideas, and I let the mod team know, "Hey, we're talking about different ideas right now. Might stick with New Awards, might be Matana Jr. after our coaches team." And then we didn't really decide right then, and so they just updated it to Matana Jr. And now all the schedules say Matana Jr. and we can't change it back really.
Okay, then it's gonna be Matna Jr. for
It's gonna be
the.
Matt Jr.
But we're gonna keep trying to change it back to We Need Wards.
All right. All right. Ians, you got any closing thoughts?
How speaking of Montague Jr. Now, how if we're making this a weekly game, how the game against Montague Jr. goes. Tuesday at 9 Eastern. Advertisements will depend on whether I show up next week.
Do you guys play each
Oh,
other next week?
same. Yeah, we do.
Yep, we do.
Let's go,
Alrighty.
Ryan.
Okay. So, yeah, everyone tune in. We're starting games on Monday the 24th, and it's going to be at the twitch.tv/Reap Smite League. Follow there, and we'll hit you up with more games. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
See you there.